But you know, so this country is very slack. Only know this country very slack. Courtney, are you aware? Are you aware that the 10 Chinese mechanics don't have any work permit to be operating in Jamaica?
Where is it?
The 10 Chinese mechanics where they have run a ferry. None of them have permit in the country.
What can go so?
Listen to that interview we have over Bradley Avenue today. Listen to that interview you somebody sent me from over Bradley Avenue. Listen this, Jamaica. Listen this.
Authority and other agencies for them to take action as necessary.
No, but more to the point, the question is, will the auto shop be allowed to continue operation while you investigate whether these people are validly working in the country?
Well, the team that that investigated today or that interacted with them today did provide them with certain instructions. Among those instructions I know would be that until we can conclude positively, or until all of the or whatever breaches, if any, that are identified are rectified, that they should not be operating. And that's again why we have to be very careful in our utterances, because we have to make sure that whatever is being done, whatever activity, is in compliance with the law. At the same time, we recognize that they have been operating, that there are many Jamaicans that have been, seeking and receiving service from them. And we don't want persons to get the impression that we're trying to stifle or create barriers to commerce. That is not our intention. That is not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to make sure that while we facilitate commerce, it must be done in compliance with the law to protect those members of the public who are seeking to take advantage of those services.
So just to be clear, you've temporarily, at least temporarily, told them to cease operation until you can verify all the credentials.
Yeah, the officers from our work permit unit would have provided them with a clear guideline of what is necessary and indicated to them that if they do not have the relevant work permit to operate this specific type of business, they are to shut down their operation until otherwise.
And how long do you expect it will take you to confirm whether they are in fact legitimate mechanics?
Well, we're moving speedily ahead. We have most of what we need, but there is, as I said, other elements to this investigation that include partner agencies, and I believe that we will. I don't want to give a specific timeline, but I believe that in short order, you will see the necessary action taken one way or the other to make sure that one, Jamaicans are protected, two, that migrants are also protected, and that to our best effort, the law is complied with.
Who are the partner agencies?
The matters of this nature usually include issues relating to work permits, passport issues. They can include criminal investigation as well, and so all of the authorities that are relevant to those types of matters are seen as partners in this. We are in touch with them. We are working with them, and I don't want to get into too much detail because there is I'd say a comprehensive effort to make sure that we are going to be able to verify and to ensure that the information we have received is accurate before we take any further steps.
I
have some further questions on that, Minister, but we are up on a break, so we'll take those after this.
Jamaica, Pernell Charles Jr., you can't lock down no Chinese shop. Because you and I know your Prime Minister is and the Security Minister is one of the biggest friends to the Chinese. Pernell, mind the Chinese make you lose your job. Pernell, mind the Chinese make you lose your job. Rubbish him attack, you know.
Say lockdown now?
Lockdown where? Courtney, up to tonight, vehicle park out there for service in the 30 tomorrow. He must want Andrew fire him. You know, here when them asking the question, he must say, him can't divulge too much.
So none of them not a work permit.
But you remember, you know, Courtney, Jamaica, you remember when the Chinese, them said them going to expand. Look already in a cent, and you know, producer, put it up there for me now, please. Look what happening in a cent, and look here now, look here, look here, look here.
Yeah.
Yo, you see everybody I talk about the blouse and skirt Chinese mechanic shop open up a ferry at town, but only didn't know say one open up a sentence be to right pan the blouse and skirt main road. See it there? Right pan the main road this day I want tell us I miss a chin on my bus there right no. I get checked but don't have to come for early, you know, cause always busy, you know. Always busy. So we have to forward early and get on the thing sorted out.
What happened to my ferry, guys?
See it, yeah? You know, fully open up yet, but they are getting there slowly but surely. Here, so China work on my vehicle, you know. They say thing there, you know.
So you know, say Mandible and no, Mandible and Montego Bay next. And I can tell you, they are operating with no work permit in none of them. They are operating with paying no taxes in none of them. They are operating with pure illegal activities.
Skullduggery. Yes. Yeah.
Look there, Jamaica. Look there, Passport Immigration Authority. Pika, under the auspices of who? Horace Chang. How them get in here to be operating in the country? Performing commerce. Yeah, what it, this is one your name Spark. Yes, Sparks. Sparks. Sparks!
So they can't vote?
Courtney, if them unaccounted for and them they all over. So there is no documentation of them. Wrong thing, producer. There is no documentation of them. Yeah. So that means, can you imagine what else in the country there's no documentation of? So that means the government don't know how many of them are here.
Not at all.
The government don't know how many of them are here. I tell you, say the next time and a Ruby are coming up. Me tell you, Jamaica, the next time and a Ruby are come. In China, no country can set up business like that. You have to partner with that Chinese to set up a business in China. But in Jamaica, look, this is undocumented immigration, you know. This is undocumented immigration. So that means the government of Jamaica don't know how many Chinese natives are in your country.
You
think is the Secretary of State coming?
Hey.
You think is the Secretary of State coming?
At all?
The Secretary of Defense.
Ball out! What? We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help.
Hello, yes, Ed boy.
Teacher, I need good night to you and your listeners. I'm sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the program, but it's Horace Chang and Pernell Child. Tell them to stop play with the Jamaican public as if they don't know what is happening. Let me tell you what is happening. There's a 27-story development that is being done in Montego Bay. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Called a particular name.
The Pinnacle. The Pinnacle. Call it the Pinnacle.
By the way, do you know that that name should be protected because Pinnacle is where the origination of Rastafarian come from?
Yes.
So they should not have that name. The Rastafarian community should be taking them to court. The owner of it, one of the developers in the group, Ying Singh, who was the vice chair for the Chamber of Commerce in Montego Bay. You hear what I said?
Yes.
The man can't even speak English good enough. When the project started, at the breaking ceremony, there was Edmund Bartlett,
yes,
and Horace Chang,
and Andrew Holness.
I did my research. Do you know that this guy is in charge of all the Chinese in the West? And do you know that they all are supporting the Jamaica Labour Party?
Not surprised.
And let me go further and say that they have started even reaching out to some PNP people because they sense that the government is going to change, hoping that the PNP will be favorable to them.
Be in bed with them.
A lot of the Chinese you see operating from in the West, they're under the control, it is alleged, of Horace Chang. And that is why he has not moved from national security. So his role is to give them the approvals to come in.
So can you imagine, we don't know the history of these people. We don't know if they are prisoners coming in the country.
But this is the problem I have because the Ministry of National Security, by the way, none of us can read a Chinese police record. When you come to apply for a work permit from any country, if you're going to Barbados, if you're going to Antigua, Cayman, you need to present a police record. I can tell you something. In most of the instances, none of these Chinese persons who are applying for work permits are presenting any police record to the Ministry of Labour. You hear what I said?
Yes.
None. They're not presenting none. And what Lyad Pernell Charles Jr. must stop though is stop trying to obfuscate and play games because Monday the envelope is going to be sent to the Ministry of Labour to a particular individual who works in the work permits department who only deals with Chinese. That's why the worker could have called out, say, give the person the money, but he not get it all now.
Oh,
there's a serious thing happening at the Ministry of Labour, that nobody is paying attention to. Yeah?
Yes.
Work permits are being approved without it doesn't go on the minister's desk to be approved. Yeah? Or the department that deals with it. The next thing, which is nasty, at the same Ministry of Labour, there's a bedrock of corruption down there, right? Because the work permit is happening at the same time, while at the same time, building stamp, yeah, it's being approved. So let me tell you, the auditor. Let me not say nothing more. The Auditor General's report on that Ministry of Labour and Social Security is going to be damning. And Pernell, you said it come to Jamaica because you want to serve and you work in New York. Ask the question, teacher, why is so much building stamp gone at Easter and St. Thomas?
Repeat that?
And why so much building stamp is being approved in Eastern St. Thomas for houses that have never been damaged by hurricane. But the people of North and Southwest St. Elizabeth can't get no help from buried. Yeah?
My God!
If you check it, go and check the Ministry of Labour. We have the most building stamps been approved. In Eastern St. Thomas, the sister of the sitting Minister of Labour and Social Security. What do you think Pernell said him son Labour and Social Security? You think so because of a nice ministry? Think so because they want to be it's the ministry with the most thieving going on in Jamaica. And the biggest hustling. Yeah?
Yes.
And I am saying, where is waiver lines? Whoever lines with the opposition spokesperson and Labour should be out on this already, because the Chinese, what they're doing at the Ministry of Labour and Teacher is a feeding tree. Mark me word, is a feeding tree. And it's a feeding tree for the Charles family because they believe they own that ministry.
My God.
You realize it's the only ministry Colonel Charles Jr. settled down, you know?
Because everywhere I'm going failing night.
And they send him there because the daddy is guiding him. Since he has become minister, it's the only time he hears so much farm up card I sell, you know. I mean, I say nothing more.
What you say I sell?
Farm up card I sell. So I am pointing out to these things. So Colonel Charles is in, I'm just trying to make the point. Colonel is in no way, shape, or form to come address nothing about a work permit. They know that Horace Chang has been using his influence as many. And by the way, a lot of these Chinese are married to Jamaicans. You know what that means, sir? Some of them depend on the voters list.
What you say?
By virtue of marriage to a Jamaican, a Chinese after 2 to 3 years can acquire citizenship and is given the right to vote.
Lord Jesus.
So when you hear Andrew Williams and him friend them say third term loading, yeah, particularly in the West, because I don't know about Kingston and St. Andrew very well where the Chinese are concerned. I know about the West. So constituencies like Southern St. James, East Central St. James, yeah, a lot of these seats in St. James have Chinese, an influx of Chinese, and particularly this development Pinnacle. Yeah.
So about how much people them have? How many Chinese you think them have a developed Pinnacle?
Teacher, based upon my information, right? Pinnacle has over 200 workers over there. Yeah? 200. Over 200 workers. And remember, this is not their only development. Yeah? By the way, the same owners of Pinnacle, they control all the distribution chain from Montego Bay to Mandible.
Really? So them powerful?
That is what I'm telling you. Every single Chinese they sell them, if they not get approval from the man in Pinnacle, then get nothing. Then can't sell. And his position is further strengthened because he's a financier of the Labour Party in the West.
What you saying name?
Ying Sang Lee.
Ning Sang Lee.
Ying Sang Lee. Look it out. LCH Development. I'm going to send you the website right
Ying Sang Lee.
LCH Development. If you type in Pinnacle, you will see it. Right? And by the way, these Chinese, and I'm not accusing them of it, but it is a known fact that the biggest money launderers in Jamaica are the Chinese.
What?
They don't bank their money, sir.
Hey! So the money not go through the system.
Go through what?
Somebody called me today and said him know somebody where operate one rat it can be or they Courtney. And nobody don't know about the Cambia them way there and the Cambia operate.
Cambia.
Yeah. Because what they're looking for, you know, they're looking to purchase the USD, and once they have that USD, it moves in droves. Yeah. So a lot of the time, a shipping container come, a shipping container go. Money comes in material form, but the raw cash is sent out. Yeah. There was a split between these Chinese, right? I know in depth. And I now go too deep tonight, teacher.
No, go there. You have 5 minutes more.
Right. They were warring. And one of the Chinese told me, I met with him. And he said to me, stay far from these guys. I said, why are you saying that? The man said, Virgin, let me tell you something. It's straight money laundering, these guys are involved. Don't even exclude the fact that some of these Chinese are involved in the drug trade.
Drug trade?
What he said to me. I said, what is it? He said, hold on. And this is a Chinese telling me this, you know. Yeah? Him saying that the reason why he knows for a fact, the Chinese that he's telling me about, him and that person or business partner, and him said that he knows for sure that they're involved in money laundering and they're involved in the drug trade. Because look what, in order to wash the money, yeah, they have to do developments.
Oh, the real estate.
Fentanyl. Do you realize why America is sanctioning China right now? Because the implements for the fentanyl, yeah? Everything to produce the fentanyl is coming from China.
Really?
So we think it's controlling the fentanyl trade. You think it's the Mexicans? No, sir. Go and check it. It's the Chinese.
That's why they want to control the war.
Once you have access to port, you have access to where goods go. And one of the strategic point of exit for Jamaica is that Jamaica has access to the Panama Canal. Once you have access to the Panama Canal, you know where you're ending? Europe. Just imagine the value of 1 kilo of that white lady in the US. It's maybe about 600, 700,000. You know when it reach Netherlands, how much it value?
No, tell me.
1.5 to 2 million.
My God.
So don't think that these Chinese are, and let me tell you, I don't have nothing against China. I have a lot of them in Jamaica. I'm bridging them, yeah? But the truth be told, we need to weed out the bad actors. And the JLP has hung up a lot of these persons that are of questionable character. Do you know you have prisoners working in Jamaica?
Prisoners? Where them working?
The China Harbour Engineering Company must come tell us how it is that they negotiated with the JLP in their last negotiation for the highway that they did. Right? A lot of their negotiation was 60-40. They said 60% of the workers must be theirs. And a lot of the workers were working on the sites doing basic labor. You hear me say basic labor. Duties that basic labor could do. Yeah? Like steel, run block. Yeah?
Yes.
This was the work they were doing. So we know for a fact that a lot of these Chinese, a lot of them
are prisoners
from China Harbour Engineering Company. And there has been documentary to show that some of them are prisoners because none of them have been able to present. And I asked the Ministry of Labour if they think I'm lying. Come show us one worker from China Harbour Engineering Company that has presented to your police record. One.
This is serious, you know.
Forced labor. We are on. That is why Jamaica, there was so much effort from the United Nations with the Jamaica in dealing with this forced labor issue. Because they realize that the Chinese is using the opportunity.
Yes.
You know, a lot of using the opportunity that they have in Jamaica to bring about this thing. Because when you take up a man from China, you don't know nothing about him. You put him to work, right? And in most instances, what they're doing, they're encouraging the marriages, teacher. That is one of the things that people have to understand.
The marriages. But I hear them paying the Jamaicans to marry them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to get to. It's paying. So they get the citizenship after a while and then them branch off into what they want to do. But I'm not going to stay long with you because I don't want to take up the program. But all I have to say is, you, Chang, you. That's how long is a Chinese man? Father, how long?
But I want to give you another perspective. Chinese men don't need permit to work on Chinese land. Don't it? Chinese men don't need permit to work on Chinese land.
What can go so?
What do I mean by that? You remember the 1,200 acres of land where Oldness give to the Chinese them in Miami Bay? If the land is given to the Chinese, Courtney, technically it's for them land. So they don't need Jamaican to work on it. Am I telling a lie or am I telling a truth? So what the Chinese do is an asset trap.
Yes.
It's an asset trap, you know, because technically when them tell us, right, so a mine, China hardware engineering a mine. So seeing that me have them piece of something and my people have to work here.
You know what I want to tell the People's National Party when it goes to government? But I know there are some people in the PNP who are listening to me now who are shaking in their boots
Hmm.
because they're not certain if I will call their names.
We all know them were under Chinese influence in the PNP.
Right?
And I hope Mark Golding don't give them that power and leverage when in turn minister.
All I can say to the People's National Party is it is time come now to deal with this trap that the Chinese have put us in. Let me tell you something.
Yes.
In Antigua and Barbuda, when Lester Bird, as I go, became Prime Minister, he had done an investment with the Americans and they were cussing that all them want about this and them want about that. Lester Bird said, well, when they don't put on the airport,
there is another thing. Wait. There's another thing. Jamaica, listen to this, because it's very interesting. Another thing we must consider that if they are not prisoners, they are military.
Absolutely, and that is what worries Washington.
Repeat that.
That is what worries Washington, because what Washington has pointed out, do you know that a part of the discussion that Andrew Holness is not saying to the country in Rubio's visit, because we're on it, do you know between Angels to Miami Bay in Sentan, it is alleged by the Americans that under the road there are cable surveillance systems that were put under the road? Meaning cables that can connect back the Chinese to Jamaica, meaning them can communicate. Yeah?
What you say?
Communicate.
Cable?
Meaning the cables. They run underground connection.
Cables?
One of the thing, the discussion I heard from a prominent person, and the person have no reason to lie to me. He said one of the things is that the Americans want the road dig up.
They want the road dig. I hear that argument, you know. Say Rubio want that highway dig up, you know. I didn't even hear say Trump say want to get it for himself.
Repave it. They will repave the road.
So when they dig up the road and I put in, with them I put in them something different.
Remember that the Americans have good technology. They have a sense that there is spyware that has been placed under the road. Remember why Ukraine and Russia is warring, you know? Because of an encroachment on the Ukraine-Russia border.
Yes.
It's the same thing happening now. The Cold War in Cuba started because what? Missiles were brought to Cuba. Jamaica is being used as a launching pad for a Chinese attack on the United States.
Mighty God! So what you say? Jamaica
is being used as a launching pad for an attack on the United States. And not that I support the United States, because everybody knows me as a pro-Venezuelan Cuban socialist.
Hey!
What you cannot have in your backyard is an enemy of your closest neighbor and ally that you also have relatives living in, getting that level of influence. Because don't make no mistake. Why you think Xi Jinping can talk so rough now to Trump? Because within Trump's backyard, he controls all of the leaders.
So that's so wait. So them tanker, they were the 12 tanker. Who for the 12 tanker were there Jamaica? Are the government of Jamaica? Are the government of China? Who talk to me?
Well, I am not certain about the tanker. You know, one thing with me, teacher, if I'm not certain about something, I'm not afraid to say it. But my best judgment would be that those are Chinese assets. Because let me tell you why. Remember, one of the things that they did, you know, that Jamaica started doing, was also partnering with the Chinese for equipment for the army.
Yes.
That has never happened in our history. Our traditional partners were Canada, the UK, and the USA.
Yes.
Yeah?
And them start take equipment from China.
No, the Foreign Affairs Ministry building, I don't want to get on it because I know the contractor who built it, and he's a good guy. It's a guy who lived in Jamaica. Been in Jamaica for a long time, but I would never send an email through that building to anybody. You hear me say? Not even an email. Yeah? Do you understand what the Chinese got? The Chinese that are now operating in Jamaica got a direct order from Beijing. Expand westward. And that is what they're doing.
Expand westward.
They're expanding westward. And they're not going to stop this expansion until we decide that enough is enough. Uno build the road, uno say no want toll we not pay.
Wait, I am getting an intelligence. Surveillance and listening devices are embedded in the road infrastructure. This not safe, Courtney.
But I tell you, and I got my intelligence. I'm a good person who knows.
Mighty God!
But you see, too, teacher, we have to be balanced in our discussion. Because I blame the United States of America, our closest neighbor. Because for years, they have not done any investment in the Caribbean. You have some good companies in Washington, in Atlanta, and all over the place that do construction, heavy equipment companies. That could have come and partnered with us and do some of the roads. Is now that them back against the wall, them coming to say, let's negotiate and let's do some other things. But the Chinese were already creeping in long time. So they should have come with their purse to say, let the biggest spender win. Yeah? But all I can say...
But you realize that all of this has really morphed and catapults in the last 9 years though, you know.
No, because, and let's make no mistake about it. Who you think brought the Chinese to Jamaica?
You tell us.
You want us to go back there? You remember them big stone of them park about going out to Palisados? That was the first project China Harbour Engineering Company did in Jamaica with a company called YP Seaton and Associates.
Oh, YP Seaton, Lord Labour, right?
At the time, let me go. Mike Henry. And Mike, me not lick you, because you know I'm a friend. Me not afraid to say so.
You know, Bangarang soon start with him.
Mike was the Minister of Transport. Remember there was a visit in China by Mike?
Yes, when he was Transport Minister 2016.
I remember we had a road program named
JDIP. JDIP. That was the most scandalous and most corrupt road infrastructure program. JDIP.
That was how China Harbour Engineering came to Jamaica against the backdrop of corruption.
JDIP. Yeah. I remember the container with the furniture then. You remember the furniture then?
James Robertson and Mike Henry had fallen for that. Because they remember once the minister want good furniture in the office and once the minister can't live in a squalor.
Oh yes. And the time the $60 million house, I remember it, man.
Yeah, let the body your house but then take from him.
My God.
So I am reminding Jamaicans that it is the JLP who brought. So these Chinese that say operating in Jamaica are mostly JLP associated Chinese. Because their introduction to Jamaica came from the JLP. Yeah? So the Chinese that Portia met when she went to meet with Xi Jinping in China.
Yeah.
Right? The JLP had already solidified relationship with some of these Chinese. The same Chinese where Siaga used to cuss in the 70s and 80s, eh?
Yes.
But teacher,
thank you for that insightful conversation with me.